Hey, this is exercise number 10 in the They're All My Favorite series. It's called the Hanging Stabilizer. At least that's what I like to call it. We are going to use this as a drill versus an exercise, meaning that you can incorporate this at any event or time or whenever you remember throughout the week or whenever you get a chance versus needing to incorporate this into a workout session. Okay, so kind of like the movement of the day, so you could just do this whenever you can, whenever you remember. All right, so the hanging stabilizer is going to help work all of your shoulder and scapular strength and stabilizing capabilities, as well as your grip strength. That means from wrist to forearm, all the way up to your shoulders. You're working to get everything nice and aligned. So this is corrective, this is preventative, and notice what's caught right in between your elbow, right? So it's going to help with your elbow issues as well. I need to do this more often, I just forget. So I'm going to use my gym rings. You can use actually preferably a stable bar. So whether you're at a gym, you have the Smith machine or the squat racks, or if you're at a park and you see those parallel bars or the kids bars that you hang on, or like I showed you prior with the substitute, you could also try the side of a treadmill. All right, so just know that depending on the height of yourself and the height of the tool that you're using, the higher your upper body is towards the ground, just like the push-up progressions, the easier it's going to be. And the lower your body, your upper body gets to the floor, the harder it gets. Okay, so the floor that I have right now with the mat on it tends to slide. So if I get too low, it's I might not be able to show you the point, but we'll try, because the way up here is a little bit too easy for me, because you're trying to look for that sweet spot of where you can do the exercise, but it's a struggle, right? So that's what you're working, that's the level you're working at, and then to go, progress beyond that. So you don't want to stay where, oh yeah, hey, I could do it and I could do this all day. That's not where you want to stay. So this one gives you all the scalable options very easily. So the moving rings causes a little bit of a setup, requires a little bit of finesse. I actually like it this way, and I also like that it's kind of, difficult for me. That I have like a long ways to go, right? So I already know that I could do it fairly upright. So I have a long ways to go to keep progressing closer and closer to the floor. All right, but it's actually easier to show you when I'm more upright. Because what we're checking to see, or what you're going to check to see, is that my shoulder from one to the other side doesn't move, that it stays stable and level throughout the entire exercise. Okay, so that's what you're going to focus your eyes on, that my shoulders are not going to shift. So setup, we're going to take our rings with an overhead grip, and we're going to lean back until we get a straight arm and a straight body line. So from head to toe, whatever angle you're at, you want a straight body line. And this is not a dead hang, meaning we're not hanging all our body weight and pulling against this. It's the opposite. Okay, you want to engage everything to keep yourself in this position where my shoulders are straight from one to the other and parallel to the floor. So what we're doing here is to check that as we let go of one arm, that the shoulders don't shift at all. So watch my shoulders, and again, this is a fairly easy position for me, right? So you don't want to let this shoulder shift down, okay? Or you don't want any sort of tweak. You want zero movement when you're doing this one arm. And if you check my other arm, this is going to be a lot harder for me because my left arm is my problematic arm, but let me get down a little bit closer to the floor, try to make it harder. So when I let go of my right ring, this ring, you should not see a shoulder movement at all. You should see no movement, okay? So here we go. And just to hold this position is the fight, is the struggle, is the point. Now, the way that I like to do it preferably is the dynamic way. When I'm using the gym rings, I actually like to do it this way, where I let go of one and I just use that momentum to keep catching and switching, like so. Okay, so my movement forward to try to make sure I grip the ring is fine, but the point of the exercise is that when I let go, there's no movement, okay? So if you're doing it on the bar, then you would have just one, the bar would be stable, of course, and you would just keep switching the arm. And that as you switch, that there's no movement in the shoulder. And of course, the lower you go, the harder it becomes. So if you get under the gym, okay? See, I'm sliding. Sorry, I can't show you that part. So I'm sliding. The last thing I'm going to tell you is, especially if you have the gym, the bar. So imagine if this was a bar across, the wider you grip, okay? The wider you grip, the harder it gets, okay? So that's the other way that you could progress. Because you still have to keep this midline intact and your shoulders stable while your arms are getting further away from you. So this one becomes harder. Okay. Let's try the other side. Okay, so everything's gonna fire, just don't let it become a dead hang, okay? That has its benefits too. That is not this drill, okay? Give it a go.